Good morning. This is grade 8 today. Inshallah, we're gonna start on the last lesson of our material in that quarter. So we're gonna pass to lesson 3 of chapter 13. We still talk about the different types of solutions. So actually, to remember, in that chapter, we start to know the difference between substances and mixtures. Then we classified mixtures into two main categories, which are heterogeneous mixtures and homogeneous mixtures. And then we said the alternative name of homogeneous mixture is solution. So we studied what are the properties of solution, and we know what different properties the solubility and what are the factors that could affect the solubility and so on. Later, now we're gonna, or that today we're gonna pass to the third lesson, which are acids and base solutions. So actually, acids and base, they are special types of solutions that have certain properties or characteristics, which we're gonna learn about them together, inshallah. So by the end of this lesson, we should be able to know what happens when acids and bases dissolve in water, and how does the concentration of hydronium ions affect the pH, and finally, what are the method that we can use to measure the pH. So the new vocabulary which we're going to learn: acid, hydronium ion, base, pH, and indicator. So let's start our lesson. First of all, we ask about acid. So if we ask, do you ever taste acid before? So may your answer will be no. So some people of you mentioned that they never taste acids, or because the first word come to your acid, it's the burning stuff that found in the lab. But actually, in our daily life, we deal with a lot of acids, and you of course tasted a lot of acids in your daily life. Vinegar is acid, lactic acid that found in the milk and yogurt, okay, that's acid also. A lot of fruits like lemon, guava, tangerine, orange, they include acid. So that's mean this sour taste which you feel okay when you taste this different kinds of food that represent they contain acid. So we already deal with acid in our daily life. So, what are acids chemically, or what the definition of acid, okay, regarding to chemistry? So here we said that acid is a type of solution, it's a substance that dissolves in water, and once it dissolves in water, it releases hydrogen ion. This hydrogen ion will combine with the water to form hydronium ion. So in another way, we can say that acid is a substance that produces hydronium ion once it dissolves in water. So regarding to what I said, we could discover that there are two things. First, all that all acids must contain one hydrogen or more. So at least they contain one hydrogen atom. And once they dissolve in water, this hydrogen atom will, or this acid will dissociate, and the hydrogen proton will set free. So it is able to combine or to bond with the water, forming the hydronium ion. So let's look at this illustration here, guys. Simply, you can see that HCl, hydrochloric acid, it's made of one chlorine atom and one hydrogen atom. So that represents an acid that contains hydrogen here. Once it dissociates or once it breaks down in water, we find that it's gonna be broken into positive hydrogen and negative chlorine. The positive hydrogen actually will combine with the water to create the hydronium ion, and then the chlorine ion will set free within the solution. So here, the presence of this hydronium ion, which is already produced due to the combination of the hydrogen proton with the water, that we consider the reason of the acidic characteristics or acidic properties in a solution. Then here, the other hand, the other face of the coin, okay, base. Always once we learn about acids, we learn about base, or they are, okay, two related terms to each other. So what is base? Okay, we see that base is that the substance that once it dissolves in water, it releases hydroxide ions. So if we ask the same question, do you taste base before? Actually, yes, okay. Sometimes like baking soda, that is okay, so while you are eating any kind of bread or something like this, any kind of dough, it contains baking soda. So that means you taste it, okay, or you just deal with it. A lot of paste is found in different kind of detergents that we use in our home, okay, different kinds of soaps and something like this. So that means already we deal with this kind of chemicals in our daily life. So here we said that that's mean all bases, once they dissolve in water, they are going to produce hydroxide ions. So that means they must contain hydroxide ions. No, it's not a must, okay, but most, okay, bases, they contain hydroxide ion, like sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, and so on. So they end the bihydroxide ion. So once they dissolve in water, they are gonna set this hydroxide ion free, which cause the characteristics of base or alkali. But actually, there are some kinds of bases that they don't hydroxide ion. So the first type or the most of bases, they contain hydroxide group in their structure. So once they dissociate in water, they are gonna set or they are gonna break down into sodium ion and the hydroxide ion, and they will keep free in the water. Okay, so the presence of these free hydroxide ion that is responsible for the characteristics of the base. On the other hand, there are some bases like ammonia, for example, and baking soda. They don't contain hydroxide ion in their structure. There is no OH here. But actually, once ammonia, okay, dissolves in water, it is able to attract one hydrogen ion from the water, putting one hydrogen to turn into ammonium ion NH4 positive, but okay, leaving behind just OH because they already attracted one hydrogen of the water. So what left from water is just OH. So it's the hydroxide ion. So whatever this there is an hydroxide ion free, this solution was gonna be a base. Whatever the source of this hydroxide ion was, or the other chemical substance. So here like this, we know the main difference between ion and base. There are a lot of things also we could compare between them. Okay, so as you can observe here in that table, okay, so we said that acid substances that releases hydronium ion in the solution, while bases they are substances that release hydroxide ion in the water. As you could observe, there are many examples of acids and base. So the most important properties or characteristics that acids provide the sour taste in the food, as we said. Most acids they are caustic, that means they could burn your skin or eye. Acids react with some metals to produce hydrogen gas, as we said before, the single replacement reaction. For example, as we said, the elements which are more reactive than hydrogen, would that mean which are already found at the top of the chemical activity series, they easily could replace the hydrogen in any acid in a single replacement reaction. Like for example, when magnesium replaces hydrogen in hydrochloric acid, or like sodium when it replaces hydrogen and nitric acid, and so on. So here we said that also hydronium ions, they are as already acids produce hydronium ions in the solution. So these free ions found in solution make the solution able to conduct electricity. So that means solutions or acids, okay, solutions are good conductors of electricity. And here, in the other hand, we find what about bases? Actually, bases they are providing the better taste, okay, in the food, and most can damage skin and eye. Also, like acids, they are slippery once they mix it with water. That's like different kind of detergent and soap, as we said before. And then once they dissociate or dissolve, they releases hydroxide ions. So the presence of these free ions in water make them okay able to conduct electricity, like what happens in case of acids. So the plus point, we're gonna talk about that both acids and base, they could react to each other or they could react together. So once they react together, acids once they react to base, okay, they always follow the same pattern of reaction. We call it neutralization reaction, in which the acid will react with the base and producing a neutral salt plus water. So let's take here, okay, a closer look to see this. Okay, just to remember these guys. For example, once we say that we have an AOH, so what kind of that? Of course, it's base. Why? Because it has the hydroxide ion. That is gonna react with, for example, okay, HCl. Okay, that is hydrochloric acid. Okay, so it's an acid containing hydrogen. So here, that's once it dissociates in water to produce positive Na and negative OH, and that's once it dissociates in water, it will produce positive hydrogen and negative chlorine. So simply, that's kind of a reaction, like a double replacement reaction. So called neutralization reaction. This OH will attract it to the H, and they carry water. Okay, or they will make a war, and the sodium will react to the negative chlorine, so it will produce an ACl, which is a salt. Okay, so the word salt is not mentioned the table salt. It could be any metal that react with a non-metal, so it create a salt. Okay, so different examples, but we show you the pattern of the reaction that the base react with as acid to produce salt. So simple here, guys. Let's check some uses, okay, or some of the things that we could use acids and base in our life. So acids are responsible for the natural and artificial flavoring in food, such as fruits. Lactic acid, for example, found in the milk and yogurt, as we said. Acids in your stomach breaks down food. We have a very strong hydrochloric acid in our stomach that help us to break different types of food. We find blueberries, strawberries, and vegetables crops grow better in acidic soil. That means the soil which contains some acidic effect, okay, or that some acids in its structure enable these types of plants to grow better. So we find that acids are used to make products such as fertilizers, detergents, and plastics. In the other hand, we find also bases have a lot of uses in our daily life. So we could use it also in the natural and artificial delivering, okay, like the coca beans. And we find that the antacids, once someone felt this heartburn, the pain in the chest because of leakage of stomach acids to the esophagus, so it start to feel that there is burning in their chest. So they start to drink something called the antacid, okay. So this antacid just simply it's a base that's gonna react with the acid that found in your esophagus, and then they make a kind of neutralization reaction and produce neutral salt, so you cancel the effect of the acidity inside your esophagus. Also, bases are found in different kinds of detergents, okay, and shampoo, window cleaners, and something like this. So many flowers, okay, grow up in basic soils and so on. So here, like this, guys, that represent, okay, the importance of acid and base, which could find or we use it somehow daily in our daily life, or even in heavy products and some products, as we explained. So next time, inshallah, we're gonna know how we could test a substance. Is it an acid or base, and how we and what is pH and so on. Thank you guys. Studied this part from your tickets very well. And if you have any question, I'm waiting to hear about them. Thank you guys and goodbye.